Today is the 50th anniversary of one of the most important pieces of legislation in American history, the Voting Rights Act. And I had the opportunity this morning to celebrate that decision with Martin Luther King III and other members of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, right at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial here in DC. What we also talked about is not just celebrating the Voting Rights Act, but talking about what the Supreme Court did 2 years ago in gutting the Voting Rights Act and allowing states all over this country to engage outrageously in voter suppression. Now, I am a politician. I have run for office on many occasions. Often I win, sometimes I lose. But it has never occurred to me to run in an election and figure out how I can prevent people who disagree with me from voting. My job is to convince people about the correctness of my ideas and to get their support. So let me be very clear in saying that those people, Republican governors, Republican legislatures, who are engaged in voter suppression, who are trying to keep African Americans, low-income people in general, senior citizens, from participating in the political process because they believe those folks will be voting against them. Those politicians are nothing less than cowards. They don't have the guts to defend their ideas. They know their ideas can't carry the day, and the way they think they can win elections is by denying millions of people the right to participate in the political process. That is disgraceful. That is un-American, and that has got to change. And as president, I will change that. What we have got to do is make it easier for people to participate in the political process, not harder. And that is why I've just introduced legislation that would provide for universal registration. To the greatest degree possible, if you are 18 years of age, you are registered to vote. In fact, this type of process exists all over the world. We have a significantly lower percentage of Americans who are registered to vote, let alone who are voting, than many other countries on earth. That has got to change. And when we talk about the decline of American democracy, it's not only voter suppression, it is the fact that as a result of this disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United, the billionaire class is now spending huge amounts of money in the political process to elect candidates who will represent the wealthy and the powerful and go to war, continue the war against the working class and the middle class of this country. And that is why I have strongly supported a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United, and why, as president, I would have a litmus test. And any candidate of mine who wants to be on the Supreme Court will have to make it loud and clear that he or she will rehear the Citizens United case and defeat Citizens United. Last point is that if we are going to create a vibrant democracy, if we are going to see large numbers of young people, low-income people, participate in the political process, we need to give people something to vote for. And that is a progressive agenda which stands up for the working class, stands up for the middle class, and is prepared to take on the billionaire class. And that is what this campaign is about. And let me conclude by saying this to those governors, those cowards, who are working hard to deny people the right to vote. If you do not believe in democracy, if you think the only way you can win elections is by denying others the right to vote, why don't you leave America and go to those countries that do not support democracy? Don't try to win elections here by denying people the right to vote. That is immoral, that's wrong, and that is un-American.